wanted to go forward with this, and we would eliminate the debt, the unpaid lunch balances essentially of those families who have them. We would pay that from our general fund, pay that to the food service fund from the general fund, and then that money would be gone. But we would then apply for this debt forgiveness program, and then the state would reimburse us for part of that or all of that. They don't know. It depends on how many people apply and how much money they have, and there's no way of us knowing. So there's a risk in that based on not knowing how much we're gonna get back once we decide to pay for it. The benefit of it is obviously that we are then at zero with all of our families in this crazy year, and we're in the position that we should be for school lunch, and Judy is adamant that at that point, we really need to be serious about requiring people to pay in advance for their meals so we don't get in that situation again. I did bring this up with local superintendents, the topic of school lunch debt, and learned that really not many schools, maybe not any other schools, have this issue because other schools addressed this years back. So it's something we would like to see done, but there's a risk involved. Tyler and I and Judy would all like to see it happen, and I'm kind of plan to go forward with that. If you would object to that, then I would ask you to let us know, and then we would.
Maybe just a one-time deal then?
Yeah, it would just be a one-time deal, and the application is due on April 30th, so we don't have a whole lot of time to decide.
Do you have any idea what kind of, how much debt?
Yeah, it's about $2,914. Yeah.
So the risk is we could be out of that, or we could be ahead, so.
Right, exactly. We could be out all that, or it could be zeroed out, and we have
Donna, it's
asked
hard
for
to hear
people
you
to
under
pay.
your mask. Could you speak louder, please?
Sure.
I'm also hard of hearing. I wear hearing aids.
Yeah, so the risk is we could be out that, or the positive is we could be at zero and our families would be better off, and we'd be in a much more clear financial position with food service budget.
I agree, you should try.
I would second that.
If it's a debt, we're actually out that money right now anyhow,
Exactly.
in one sense of the word.
That's true.
And is there the chance that we would remain out of it, where at least if it goes into the forgiveness program, we could see a portion of it?
True.
Like I had just said, other schools won't have this problem, so maybe a whole lot won't apply, and we'll be top of the list.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so we will plan to move forward with that then.
I think
Okay.
so.
It's not something that requires a vote.
Okay.
Thank you. And, okay, last item, just a little fun piece of news. The 5 weeks prior to spring break, the high school and elementary school leadership teams decided to have a staff wellness challenge. A lot of our staff people participated. It was a lot of fun. There was a week-long theme based on different aspects of wellness. Drinking water was 1 week, exercise was another, sleep, getting enough sleep was another, eating right, and then the final week was gratitude. And so a lot of staff participated, and they kind of logged their participation, and then 3 staff people who were involved were picked every week, and we had different staff people in the PTO who contributed and were able to get prizes from the community. And the final day, we had kind of a mini assembly for teachers and staff who participated, and everyone's names got picked, and those who did a really stellar job and really went gung-ho the whole time got a few prizes, and it was just a lot of fun and a really great kind of energizing thing to do before spring break. So that was just kind of neat, positive school climate thing for
Yes.
staff.
Oh, okay, thank you for all that,
That's it.
Christina.
Yeah.
What's going on? We'll move on to action discussion items. A, recommendation to discuss and decide upon CCASB award recipient, student, employee, and school service.
Okay, I gotta talk some more, I'm sorry. Okay, so, my recommendation for, and I've kind of gotten feedback a little bit from different folks on these, but recommendation for the school employee this year is Christy Hainanen. She is an incredibly excellent first grade teacher. She is exemplary, in fact, one of the best I've ever seen at classroom management, and then sharing what she knows about this with others. She has been significant in moving our school way forward in classified reading and reading, especially at the K-2 level. She's got some serious expertise that she's built up over her long teaching career. And also improving school climate. elementary level. And she actually also advises middle and high school teachers when it comes to students with real challenging behaviors and coming up with plans to help them. Christy mentions retirement from time to time. She is eligible, and so I think it would be a really great idea to honor and recognize her before whenever that point is that she says goodbye to us. She's a truly outstanding teacher. For the School Service Award, I would recommend, he's already been brought up tonight, Mr. Rob Rowe. He is our woodshop teacher, he has been for almost 3 years now. I don't know if you remember a few years ago when we were trying to find somebody for that difficult to fill position, and just to like a day or two before the school year started, he came forward and was willing just to jump in with both feet and has done a phenomenal job. He gives a ton of his own time and energy and money and supplies to the program, and it's just a 1 period a day position that he's actually officially here for. He donates wood and more to the school. Last year when we had to cut down the trees for the parking lot, which was unfortunate, he made that into a positive by processing a lot of that wood, taking it to a friend's wood mill so that the kids here at our school could then use the wood from that tree. He is often seen leaving school with random parts of the woodshop equipment so that he can bring them home and repair them himself. And for those and many other reasons, super friendly, super fun to talk to. Just a giving spirit. I would recommend Rob Rowe for that. And as I mentioned before, he would be okay with concluding his time in Dollar Bay this year for his own personal reasons based on retirement and his family and so on. And so as for the student awards, I met with a couple of people upstairs in the high school to look through our senior class names. Normally we give this award to seniors or a senior, and we often try to focus on students who are maybe more behind the scenes or unsung heroes, as opposed to students who might be receiving recognition or awards in other ways. And so the folks that discussed our seniors really all agreed upon 2 kids, and there's 1 girl, 1 boy. Helen Belopavlovich is definitely an unsung hero. She is a quiet leader with a clear vision of wanting to make the world a better place. She's quiet, but she's not shy. She stands up for what she believes in, and she's always herself, even when that is different from the kids around her. She helped start an environmental club last year before COVID shut things down, and she's a very hard worker. And the young man that people felt together would be a really good choice was Dwayne Randell. He is polite, kind, helpful. He's an extroverted leader in the classroom. Though he's not in official leadership positions in the school, Dwayne does lead every day in his class discussions and more. He is on task, even in online school, where it was sometimes a challenge for students, meaning remote school. He was one who could always be counted on to have his camera on and to be visibly engaged and active. Bright, intellectually curious, he thinks about things on a deep level and then talks about them with others. So those are my recommendations this year for the CCASB awards.
I'd make a motion that we formally nominate, or whatever the verb is, of that slate in its entirety.
And I will support that. Do we have a discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Okay, good. Thank you for that, Christina. Nice choices there. Okay, moving on to B. Recommendation to consider designation of electoral representation by Donna Engman, President as primary, and Steve Lucare, Vice President as alternate for the CCISD Board June 7, 2021 election.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I think Steve and I have to abstain. Any opposed? Steve and I abstain. Okay, motion carries. Okay, recommendation to approve the completed 2021 evaluation of the superintendent.
Louder, please.
Recommendation to approve the completed 2021 evaluation of the superintendent,
I'll make that motion.
and I will support it. And do we have a discussion? All
Was
in
it,
favor?
was it Dallas Wood that supported? I couldn't hear.
Pardon?
Dallas supported,
Okay.
Dallas made the motion, I supported.
Thank you, I couldn't hear under the
Oh.
mask.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Recommendation to approve the hire of Taylor Busser and Derek Poignan as junior high track coaches.
I'll make that motion.
And I will support that as well. Okay, do we have any,
Just a real quick question, if I remember right, we budget that as one position, are they just cutting the pay in half?
No, actually, thank you for bringing that up. No, it's actually two
Christina.
positions, and in past years, there was a little confusion about that because of the way it was listed in the Schedule B section of the teacher contract. And that was rectified either last year or the year prior, so that it's listed as junior high track girls, junior high track boys.
Okay,
So officially, Taylor is going to be the girls' coach and Derek is going to be the boys' coach, although I think they're likely to probably share duties, and Taylor might end up being more the running coach and Derek might end up being more the field events coach, but it's not decided, it's up to those two to work that
Sure.
out. Yeah, good question.
great to have the two though.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Very, very much so.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, so we, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. On to E. Recommendation to approve the early graduation of Lana Corpola. Sounds like that's a good plan. I'll make the motion for Lana. Is there support?
Sure.
Jeff, support? Do we have a discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. F, recommendation to approve the letter of understanding between the support staff union and the Board of Education regarding sick time donation to an employee. And do we, I'll make the motion for this. Do we have a support?
I'll support that, and this has been basically run past the attorneys and given their.
Yeah,
the
it's
go-ahead.
based upon a template shared by, yeah,
And we
attorney.
got together in a meeting and did all we had to do. and-
All parties.
Yes, okay. So, any more discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Do we have any old or new business to discuss?
I just have a question that goes back to your report earlier. A community member asked me, do we get state funding for each preschooler's head that's in the building?
Oh.
Yeah, very good question. Yes, that is one of the main reasons we're going with the Great Start Readiness Program. Because if you are a GSRP program, then you get funding per slot. And how they allocate slots is, well, they do basically half-day slots. So in our case, we would be granted by the ISD, who's kind of in control of all the preschool slots for Great Start Readiness Program, 32 slots, which would be 16. That's the max we could have in this classroom. And unfortunately, it's not the same amount as the foundation allowance yet. It's 7,000 something currently for a full day for those two slots, whereas currently the foundation allowance for K-12 pupils is $8,111. Now, the governor is advocating for more funding for preschool, and a lot of people at the state level understand that this needs to be a priority. And so there is a lot of hope that that number will increase before, maybe even before the next school year begins, which is obviously what we hope, but at this point, it's a little bit less.
Thank you.
Okay, so no old or new business, and do we have a motion to adjourn? Well, I guess I'll make that too. Do we have a second?
Support.
Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye,
Opposed?
aye, aye.
Any abstained? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Gotta go find my shovel.
Yeah, really.
It'll melt.
My shovel's under it somewhere.
Yeah.
You hadn't put it away yet.
Well, I had leaned it against the house and then the wind came.
Yeah.
It's probably here.
Jen did that an hour ago, I missed it, the volume was on.